Alice Turner here. We haven't met in real life. I am a doula, a childbirth educator, and I set up the big wheel of birth in order to do some little nuggets of childbirth education on different topics. And I'm going to spin and see what we are going to talk about today. Okay, today we're talking about station. Station. Now, if you are excited to find out about station, hit that like button and let me know that you are watching and excited to find out about what station means. Now, I have my props right out of camera frame right here, and for talking about station, we're going to need the pelvis and we're going to need the baby. Okay, so station is a measurement that is done to assess or to quantify where the baby is in relation to the pelvis. So before the baby's head is engaged in the pelvis or the baby drops, you might have heard, has your baby dropped? That means the baby's head engages into the pelvis, so drops into the pelvis. See how the baby's in the pelvis right now? Before that happens, the baby is just floating, and that is a -3. You might hear -4, -3, -4 station. So -3 station up here. As the baby drops down into the pelvis, then we're going to go towards 0. So -3, -2, -1. As the baby is halfway through the pelvis, right at the part of the ischial spines, that is a 0 station. And then as the baby passes through that midway point, then we start to our positives, and we eventually get to a +4 station, +4, and that is baby out of the pelvis. Okay, so baby all the way through. I'm not going to put baby through the pelvis right now because on video it looks so awkward because this pelvis doesn't have any joints and doesn't move. So it's a little bit harder to get this baby through gracefully. So the station has to do with how far the baby drops down through the pelvis. So we've got negative numbers, 0 right at the middle, positive numbers for our station. Now, you might be wondering, I remember when I learned about this, I was wondering, well, how do they know? How can they figure out if the baby, what station the baby is in? So this is another number that they can give you, assessment that can be made during a vaginal exam. So during the vaginal exam, which we have a video on that I will put a link down below. The dilation, so opening of the cervix, is assessed. The thinning, the effacement is assessed, and the station is assessed. So as your provider does the cervical exam, they can feel how low down that baby is. If they touch the baby's head and it floats up, well, the baby's head is not engaged in the pelvis yet. So they can tell at what station baby is at. And again, it's not an exact science. It's really done by feel and by experience of that provider. As they do more and more vaginal exams, then they get a feel of what each station feels like. But they can tell how far down the baby is. And a lot of times, before it is time to push, we see baby up in the -1, -2 range. And then a lot of times we see pushing start right about anywhere from -1, 0, +1 kind of station when pushing begins. And it kind of depends on what the cervix is doing, whether the provider, if it's time to push, if you have an epidural and you don't have a strong urge to push and you might be dilated, your provider might recommend waiting a bit until the baby comes a little bit lower station before active pushing is done. So that kind of depends on your preference and your provider's preference and what they think is best. But sometimes if with an epidural, you might wait until a lower station before the active pushing is done. So 0 station is right there at the midline. Now, It's an interesting number, I think, to know as someone in labor, because sometimes we can see lots of contractions happen without a lot of change in dilation or effacement, but where we'll see change in station. So every time you do get a vaginal exam, or you make the option to go ahead with a vaginal exam, I would ask, what station is my baby, or how low is my baby? Because if you are, say, the same dilation between your first cervical check vaginal exam and your second vaginal exam, if your dilation is the same, but your baby has dropped lower in station, then it's a good feeling that progress has happened. So it's just another number to show us how much closer we are to the birth of the baby and how low the baby is in our pelvis. So station is not talked about as much as dilation or effacement, but it is a super helpful number to know and very interesting. So I encourage you to ask that when you get a vaginal exam and find out how low your baby is and how baby's progressing. So again, I will have links below to related videos that relate to station. Also, we have 50 videos so far from the big wheel of birth, and to make them easier to navigate, we've organized them all into a free course. So you can get into that course. It's called Birth A to Z. I'll put a link below, and you can get in there and get access to all of the videos, and they're organized by sections like coping measures, or how to deal with contractions, anatomy and physiology, which is where this one, the station video, is going to go when we load it up there. And also how to prepare for labor. So different sections, check it out, Birth A to Z. And I always love comments about the video, so I encourage you to leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking about this video or any of the Big Wheel of Birth videos. Thanks for hanging with me today, guys. See you next time. Bye.